Good morning, everyone. So my name is Adrien Lambrechts. I work for the French Biodiversity Agency, and it will be actually a joint presentation along with Cris Sellares from the National Trust for Jersey. I'm very pleased to be here today because 1 year ago I was presenting presentation in the previous inter-island environment meeting, and it was actually at this stage a presentation on the, about the project of a monitoring program, and today I will present the ongoing program that is being implemented. So it's related to the monitoring program on the Balearic shearwater. So my work in the French Biodiversity Agency is the coordination of the national action plan for this species, the Balearic shearwater. So for the introduction, I will let Cris speak.
Okay, thanks. Thank you. You might have noticed that summer is over. And when summer is over, in the Northern Hemisphere, birds finish their breeding season. And then they do that. They go south after they finish the breeding season. But there is one bird that breeds only in the Mediterranean Sea, goes towards the Strait of Gibraltar, so far so good, and then goes up the coast of Portugal, through the Bay of Biscay, round Brittany, and ends up here. Like that one. That one was stuck in Barcelona the 23rd of May on a fishing vessel. And 3 months later, he is pretty much standing, flying 2 miles away from where we are sitting today. And then the tag fell off. And I want to say, who are you? Are you okay, little weirdo? Is everything okay? Do you need a hand with something? Yes, turns out it is the Balearic shearwater. You spoiled it a little bit when you said that's what you're doing for a living. But it is not okay because it is the rarest seabird in Europe and the most threatened one. And globally, it's also critically threatened. So it does need help. It does need to be looked into. And Adrien is going to explain to us what actions are being taken for this species that is so unique that it goes the other way and comes here to see us instead of going south.
So for all these reasons, this species, the Balearic shearwater, is already taken into account in different international and national programs of conservation, especially, or for example, the first one was the International Action Plan, written in 2011 by the BirdLife partner in Spain. So this International Action Plan, which is actually currently revised, committed involved countries as friends to write or to draft its own action plan. So after 10 years, it was quite a long time, but after 10 years, France finally managed to write its own national action plan for the Balearic shearwater. There is other kind of action plan or initiative or conservation program. For example, a recent European LIFE program involving different European countries in the conservation of different species of shearwater, including the Balearic shearwater. So as a framework of what we are going to talk about with Cris, the French National Action Plan try to achieve goals and to fulfill some objectives, including 2 of them, which are really related to what we are trying to do in the Channel Island, which is on the one hand to improve the knowledge about the ecology, the demography of the Balearic shearwater in France and other areas. but also to maintain a high level of partnership between countries and different partners, institutions that could be interested in the conservation of this species. Another part of the framework of our work is the fact that we realized, thanks to different clues or evidences, that the Channel Islands waters appear to be a key area for the species. So we had some data from opportunistic observation or different local monitoring, but also some recent research we have carried out, like the tagging of individuals with GPS recently, so last year and even this year, showed us and gave us new clues and evidence that the Channel Islands waters are really important areas for the species. As you can see on those maps, where you can see that some individuals tagged in France reached the Guernsey, Jersey, and even Alderney waters during the summer. Also, a short reminder of how important could be your waters here in the Channel Islands. So, for example, to justify or to designate an important bird area, the threshold would be 1% of the global population. And here in the Channel Islands waters, you can have up to, and it's a minimum, at this time we don't have the whole picture, but it's a minimum of 3,000 individuals at the same time in your waters, which is enormous in terms of percentage of the global population, more than 15%.
So, having seen this data, we were contacted by Adrien. In fact, it was Guernsey that were the first point of contact to explore the possibility of studying the species in the Channel Island waters in a way that's more systematic and that can be replicated, that provides data that can be used for implementation of plans and for conservation policies. So a year ago, Adrien and a delegation of representatives from Normandy and Brittany came to Jersey, because just happened to be Jersey, logistically was easier. And then we invited everybody in the Channel Islands with an interest and an expertise in seabird conservation and research. And we just put our heads together and we sat down for a day and we explored possibilities of monitoring, research and collaboration programs. Start putting funding together. Everybody was helping, everybody was moving this project forward, finding the right boat, finding the right crew, finding the right volunteers and expert observers. And a year later, in June, we were training the observers. This is run by volunteers who are expert ornithologists and got trained on the methods on collecting the data from the boat. And we have a team in Jersey and a team in Guernsey ready to deploy when the surveys happen. And the boat is based in Jersey because it has to be a boat of particular characteristics. So all the surveys take off from Jersey. And there's two sites that we survey, one in Jersey and one in Guernsey. The first surveys started, I think, 4 days after the training. So it was a straight in. And you can see on the maps, the yellow points are the beginning and end of transect lines, and the red lines are another type of survey, which is aerial, which Adrien is going to talk a bit more about. So far, we have completed 6 surveys, 3 in Guernsey, 3 in Jersey. Each color line is a different survey. The data is so raw, we haven't had time to explore it too much, but you can see that in some cases the lines, transect lines, have been very faithful to each other, and the Jersey ones have been a bit unlucky with the weather. You can see where we had to change course because of deteriorating conditions of weather. But the more we do, the more surveys we repeat, the more we carry on forward, the more consistent the data will be, and that's the whole point of establishing a line of research that is solid and that can be replicated, and just finding our own feet and learning our limits, our capabilities, and adjusting the best we can. But so far it's going really good, really well. we're collecting data on all seabird species, on all fish that we can identify, in all mammals that we can identify. So this data, which is across the Channel Islands, which can be widely shared, is going to be so helpful to understand how our shared seabirds and our shared marine mammals and fish use the waters around us, and what their populations are doing, how they change through the year, and it's to establish trends that we don't have yet. Shall I do one more? Yes, and you can see just the first 6 surveys have provided with 550 records of 1,800 individuals. I have just highlighted some interesting ones. We had rhesus dolphins, we had some fish, but in the other color, species that tend to associate with each other, that we have been seeing changes in behavior already within a season. So bluefin tuna and dolphin species associating in feeding activity with shearwaters, gannets, and other species of birds, which is quite interesting to see, especially how it changes through the seasons. He might be able to add some more information, Adrien.
So it's a collaborative program. So Chris just presented you the part of the program led by the Channel Islands partners. So we have also part of the program which is led by French partners, especially the NGO Groupe Ornithologique Normand, which leads the program for the French part. So this French part of the program includes also a boat-based survey, one site on the western coast of Cotentin Peninsula. So it's one survey per site and per month from June to October. We also managed to organize a partnership with Brittany Ferries, which allow us to have an observer on board every 10 days from June to October, and to implement a standardized protocol of observation. And also we have managed to finance an aerial digital survey. So it's a survey implemented by plane, thanks to cameras, high definition cameras. So we will have this kind of survey twice a year, this year and next year. So one in July and one in September. So it's an ongoing program, just started at the beginning of 2024 summer. So we already have one aerial survey undertaken, so on the 18th of July. We also have carried out 10 surveys on ferries so far. And unfortunately, we just started the boat-based survey in June, and afterwards we have an engine issues on the boat, so we couldn't go on with this survey at this stage, but we hope that we could start again for the rest of the year and hopefully for next year. So now, what next? So as I was saying, it's an ongoing program. So we still have to finalize the first campaign, the 2024 campaign, but also prepare and undertake the 2025 campaign next year. We are wondering if we could maybe include Alderney waters in the study area, since we have new evidence that this northern area could be also a key area for the species. That's something we still have to investigate. Then we'll have, thanks to all these data collected, to analyze the data, to improve the knowledge on the ecology of the species, but also the numbers of individuals we have, the distribution of the species within this study area, etc. And also we could investigate some ecology traits, like is there any association with other species like other seabirds, but also tuna or dolphins, which is something that we already think of. We could assess the level of interaction with fisheries, because in France we know that part of the individuals rely on fishing discards to feed on. So it's something that we have to investigate here in the Channel Islands waters. And then it will be a first step to assess the potential threats of human activities on these species. For example, the development of offshore wind farms, but also the risk of bycatch caused by fisheries, or the disturbance of the groups of shearwaters by leisure activities. And then another question we have to think of is the possibility of organizing the next GPS fitting campaign in the Channel Island waters, because we have already undertaken 3 years of this program, mostly in the southern of Brittany. So now it could be interesting to fit GPS on birds directly on the northern part of Brittany, and especially in the Channel Islands waters.
I just wanted to say this is a great collaborative project. So people here that are missing are Julia, Alex, Roland, Tim Wright, Tim Dufault. Is a great partnership, and then the support organizations that have also contributed with funding or with discounted rates for the for the boats and the charters. So thank you to all of you. You should be up here with us. Thank you for your support, everybody.